What's going on, everybody? Black Glove Reviews. Pet Sematary, 1989. Let's talk about it. All right. Hope everyone's having a good evening or day wherever you're all at. Black Glove Reviews, aka, of course, Chris C. You can find me here on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, and you can find me Letterboxd under the name Black Glove Reviews. If you like slashers, if you like the giallo, if you like horror in general, specifically Stephen King for Stephen King September, just go ahead and hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell if you like what you see here. Let's get this started. We're talking about Pet Sematary from 1989. I put up a post on my YouTube page what you'd all like to see for my thoughts and reviews. It was originally Terror Tuesday. I changed that around. Hey Internet, Eric here. Eric is a very cool person. Check out his channel. I will put his channel info in the info bar as well. Also, Jen from Jen's Reviews from the Grave. She made another suggestion. That will be my next thoughts and review, which is the sequel to this film. But let's start out with this film from 1989, directed by Mary Lambert. Of course, one of the co-writers is Stephen King, which is based off his book Pet Sematary. By his own words, the only film that actually scared, or the book, when he wrote it, that actually really, truly terrified him. So this stars Dale Metcalf as Lewis Creed. We have the very pretty Denise Crosby as Rachel Creed. We have Blaise Berdal as Ellie Creed. We have Fred Gwynne, Herman Munster, as Judd Crandall. We have Brad Greenquist as Victor Pascal. I'm going to get to his character in a second here. We have Susan Blumart as Miss Dandridge. I've seen her in other films. We have Miko Hughes as, of course, Gage, his son. So the Creed family moves to this. This is filmed in Maine, where Stephen King is from. The Stephen King universe is in Maine in general. It just revolves around there. The Creed family moves into this house out here in this town, right across this freeway where these diesel trucks go way too fast. It just starts out at the start of this. You kind of know what's coming. He is the new doctor at this new school. And so they're all just getting situated. His wife's parents don't like him whatsoever. You kind of see that at the start of this film. I love Stephen King films. This is not my favorite, but it's up there as one of my favorites. This is a good release that Paramount did for the 30th anniversary, of course, and it's that iconic cover, basically from the Paperback from Hell novel that came out. So a person ends up dying that ends up going there before they can call a hospital to come pick him up, and that, of course, is Victor Pascal character. He dies. Creed does a promise like, well, I promised my wife that maybe nothing bad would happen today. Sure enough, it did. He grabs him and tells him, no, this ain't good. He says something like, your man's heart is a heart of stone, something like that, where Judd reiterates that, what a man is compared to, female, stuff like that a little bit. Of course, you have their cat Church, this beautiful evil creature here. Well, when I think they're out for Thanksgiving, the family goes, but basically Lewis doesn't go with them because her parents don't like him whatsoever. And so he decides to stay, just take care of stuff there where they all go up to the grandparents and parents for Thanksgiving. Church ends up getting killed by something, probably hit, and he's like stuck. He's deader than a doornail there. Jude said, well, Ellie basically doesn't know. I believe I said her name right. Let's see, yeah, Ellie, because it's her cat, like that. They talk about religion a little bit in this too. Also, his wife, Rachel, that's what I liked about Stephen King. There's different stories in this universe. There's stories within stories. characters within characters. She talks about her sister who had a bone degenerative like disease and says this stuff, what's going on. It's pretty brutal the way she describes it in this film. It's done very well. So a lot of moving parts in this film. Basically, the cat dies, Church dies. And Jude or Judd mentions to him, okay, let me take you somewhere. So they go, they get introduced to the pet cemetery, which is spelled wrong because, like, say, children probably wrote that with an S instead of a C. Well, Judd takes them farther to, and this doesn't exist in real life, an ancient Indian burial ground. Indian burial grounds don't exist. It's not part of their culture. But he goes beyond the original graveyard up this mountainside, and you see this very unique graveyard where he says, well, my dog died when I was a kid. I brought the dog back to life, but the problem is, basically, you get the idea, dead is better. He says that later on. He takes Church up there, buries him. The cat comes back the very next day, basically. And that's where it kind of starts. They all come back. He says, yeah, Church is fine. It's all good. And Church is not fine. He's all taking like a bath because Church scratches him. He throws a dead mouse in or it's a rat in the bathtub. That's an issue already. They all come back. Then it just comes up to this scene where they're all playing in this field with the kite. Gage ends up going into freeway and he gets killed. It's one of the most iconic horror scenes in film history, in my opinion. The dad screams as he looks through all the life through the delivery of his son and all this other stuff as well. It gets bad, the funeral and stuff. First off, way before this, Miss Dandridge commits suicide. She hangs herself. Now, she wrote a note or something because Dr. Creed offers to help her because her stomach's bothering him, but you hear nothing about that. She just dies, and it's Stephen King who's the pastor in the graveyard, wishing her well and doing all this stuff too. So he's done that before. So that's what I like about Stephen King. Puts himself into his films based off his books. It's pretty cool kind of stuff. Then all this other stuff happens. Well, Gage goes into the street. He dies. Gruesome scene. Little small coffin at this funeral. The grandfather goes off on him. This little coffin falls. You see a little bit of Gage. They end up going up to the grandparents' house, except for him. Says this is for the best. It's best because I'll go up there and join you in 3 days, which means he plans on moving. He's getting the bleep out of there, you believe. Judd tells him it's not a good idea. It wasn't a good idea to start with. not a good idea whatsoever. Start with. And he basically repeats that sometimes dead is better because he tells the story of a World War II vet who gets killed as soon as he arrives back from the war. The dad misses him. That's what happens. He takes him out to that graveyard, burial ground, buries him. He comes back to life. You figured out it's very cannibalistic what happens with him. And then he just goes on from there. Said we burn the house down with the son and the father in it. Sometimes dead is better. He emphasizes this. That was not the best idea in the world. He says, well, I kind of lied to you where a person didn't get buried there. He thought it was just pets. No. Animals, no. People were buried there. But he mentions the natives stopped doing it because the ground became sour. So there it is. So basically the ground is soured. It's basically a curse. A little bit, you can say. In Stephen King's terms, he has very unique ways of saying stuff in his books. Takes little Gage, digs up the gravesite, takes the body, takes him up there. Sure enough, he comes back to life. Rachel comes back because the ghost of Victor is telling him, don't do this. Don't do this. I'm trying to help you. Don't do this. It's bad. Don't do it. Sure enough, he warns Rachel. So Rachel gets this flight back. This truck driver, the ghost basically helps her get back there. They all go to Judd's house when Judd's been taken care of. A little bit of spoilers here, but I don't mind doing the narration for this film. In a very gruesome way, you have this little bastard child, Gage, who's been resurrected and is just an evil little prick. With the cat helping him, the mom goes in there. Oh boy, she gets taken out. All as a good old Lewis wakes up. Then stuff happens from there. It's a very good ending. Of course, the ending song is "Pet Cemetery" by the Ramones. This was, of course, filmed in 1989. It was filmed in Maine, USA. The budget was 11 million worldwide. That 57 million. How good are Stephen King films? Pretty much three-quarters or more of them are pretty damn good for the most part. A solid 8 out of 10. Of course, I've seen this film many times. It's highly rewatchable. This is a great release. It was also put in Paramount Scares, of course. This is a good one and great suggestion from, hey, Internet Eric here. Anyway, that's my thoughts and review on Pet Sematary. I am Black Glove Reviews. You all have a great evening, because I don't want to be buried in the pet cemetery.